Donald Trump made a tweet. That's how basically everything starts these days. Iran's navy is laying at the bottom of the sea, completely obliterated, 158 ships. What we have not hit are their small number of what they call fast attack ships, because we do not consider them much of a threat. Warning, if any of these ships come anywhere close to our blockade, they will immediately be eliminated using the same system of kill that is used against the drug dealers on boats at sea. It is quick and brutal. P.S. 98.2% of drugs coming into the U.S. by ocean or sea have stopped. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President DJT. You know, a lot of people crying that Trump's not doing enough to protect our mainland, and he's doing a lot to protect our mainland. 99% of legal immigration was stopped under Trump, which is fantastic. For those of you that need a crazy update, Iran threatened to block the Strait of Hormuz, so Donald Trump said, "Oh, no, you will not. I will block the Strait of Hormuz." which is honestly, it sounds pretty dumb, and that's why a lot of the libtards are crying about it. And a lot of the low IQ podcasters are freaking out. Donald Trump's an idiot. But they don't understand. But if they watch this video, they would. So lend me your attention for approximately the next 20 minutes, and you will see potentially one of the greatest military victories in at least the last half century. So Donald Trump continues to tweet. 34 ships went through the Strait of Hormuz yesterday, which is by far the highest number since this foolish closure began. So the question is, wait a second, Donald Trump did a blockade. Why are ships going through? Because Donald Trump, you see, has a very different strategy with his blockade than merely annoying the planet, which is what Iran did. Right? Iran was out there bombing ships and whatever to basically annoy the planet, to use it to extort Trump to stop the war. Trump is using it to crush Iran completely. So Vance originally now acknowledges he acknowledges that even though he was skeptical originally about going to war with Iran, he now agrees that it needed to happen after actually meeting these motherfuckers.
As it can. It's being reported that you had real skepticism about this at the beginning, and that you expressed that to the president. Is that true?
Well, Brett, you know, I give my advice to the President of the United States, and we all do, and I expect that when I give advice to the President of the United States, that it's going to be private, because the President should rely on his senior advisors without them then running to the media. What I will say, Brett, is that I 100% agree with the President on the fact that Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. I've seen that just in the negotiation that we've had over the last couple of days, that these are tough negotiators, but they're fundamentally the kinds of people where them having a nuclear weapon would impose terrible costs on the entire world.
They couldn't figure out
engage in economic terror.
They couldn't figure out how to stop raping children and goats. All right, we don't want them to have nukes.
If they had a nuclear bomb in Tehran, that's not an outcome that is acceptable to us, or really should be acceptable to anybody. So I 100% support the president's goals here to keep nuclear weapons, to keep the worst weapons of war out of the hands of the Iranians.
Honestly, just an incredibly good take. So JD is warming up to the idea of actually killing these goat fuckers, which is great, because I don't think goat fuckers should live. So anyway, Donald Trump continues roasting Europe this time. Dude, you're going to see this is all going to come together. Don't you worry. Europe is desperate for energy, and yet the United Kingdom refuses to open the North Sea oil. One of the greatest fields in the world, tragic. Aberdeen would be booming. Norway sells its North Sea oil to the UK at double the price. They are making a fortune. UK, which is better situated on the North Sea for purposes of energy than Norway, should drill, baby, drill. It is absolutely crazy that they don't, and no more windmills. And this is honestly because, honestly, England is gay. Gay, homosexuals, they're faggots. Gay faggots and homosexuals running the entire country these days. While they're not bringing in rapists of children, they do their absolute best to rape their citizens. Unfortunately for the people of England, their government is so woke that they would rather suffer and not have oil than drill. So they're going to buy it from people that pollute the sea instead of pollute the sea themselves. It's pretty great, huh? And the funniest part of it all is now they're crying about the Strait of Hormuz because, well, they can't buy money from the goat fuckers anymore. It's horrible. So, of course, Spain gets involved. Great news. Spain rejects Trump Hormuz blockade threat. You know what? I'm really glad they did, because I've been waiting for this moment to say, your opinion means fucking nothing. Focus on your own house, my guy. Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez's wife has just been charged with influence peddling and private sector corruption. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Focus on your own shit. Well, meanwhile, this dude's out here virtue signaling to the rest of the world. Spain, which wants oil from their buddies over at Iran, because Spain is a conquered nation at this point. 500 years of crusades, the Christians managed to take Spain back from the Islamists. And they have forfeited it, literally, with 0 battles, 0 bloodshed. Well, I mean, at least not bloodshed in war. And they just gave it back. Notice how Spain never threatened Iran, never told Iran not to block the Strait of Hormuz, but of course very upset at Trump for doing it. Pretty honestly, hilariously eye-opening, if you ask me. Pedro Sanchez made this tweet, so it all comes together. Today with Xi Jinping, I've confirmed the bond between Spain and China emerges strength following official trip. Yeah, we get it. We get it. We get it. We know what side you're on. Thank you. Thank you very much. Of course, England's also losing their mind now that they're not getting oil from the Strait of Hormuz. The UK was totally cool with Iran controlling the strait. When the US takes it over and stops Iran's ships, they get angry. Weird, huh? It's almost like the Islamist country of Iran is taking over or something, and they're allying themselves with the IRGC. Keir Starmer makes this whole long, like, drolling on and on tweet. The ongoing closure of the Strait of Hormuz is deeply damaging. Getting global shipping moving is vital. It's vital. This week, the UK and France will host a summit of advanced work on coordination independent multinational plan to safeguard international shipping when the conflict ends. When the conflict ends, notice. All right, meaning he's going to do fucking nothing until literally Donald Trump cleans up the issue. All right, and honestly, I thought this was one of the greatest summaries I've ever seen in my life. The Europeans are preparing to talk about co-hosting a summit to discuss what meetings need to be held to form a multinational coalition to consider what should be done once the conflict is over. It's literally just meetings and meetings and meetings and meetings and plans and meetings and strongly worded tweets and letters and condemnations in the United Nations, and they never do fucking anything. It's truly diabolical watching these cucks try to flounder, all right? 45K likes on this. You just announced a blockade yesterday. How are ships going through? Holy fuck. We are blocking the Iranian ships to starve Iran, all right? Which we'll get to in just a second. So this is Iran furious. Trump's blockade is working very, very well. In fact, Iran flew one of their drones a little too close.
If any Iranian ships come anywhere close to our blockade, they'll be immediately eliminated. U.S. Marines are ready to board Iranian oil tankers, and CENTCOM's ready to neutralize any Iranian fast attack boats that slip into the strait to cause mischief.
Yep.
One of Iran's surveillance drones
this is international
flew
waters.
Too close to one of our destroyers, and we blew it out of the sky.
That's right. They got a little too close, and we blew it away. This does not violate the ceasefire. We were worried about a very, very immediate attack. This was a preemptive defensive maneuver. I'm just saying they flew a little too close and they fucking died. It's not our problem they decided to die. The reality is very simple, my guy. Very, very simple. Now, 2 tankers were also going in this strait, trying to go through Trump's blockade to go to China. They put on fake flags and fake banners to slip past the blockade to go to China. Well.
This is completely reversing everything Iran did to the strait. Now, every nation's ship in the world can sail out except Iran's.
That's right.
15 American warships are involved in the operation. The mission to free the strait got underway this weekend when 2 guided missile destroyers sailed straight up the gut. The USS Frank E. Peterson and the USS Michael Murphy were the first 2 warships to bust into the strait since the start of the war. The regime threatened to attack if American ships entered.
Oh, my.
We did it anyway, and they did nothing. And we're about to start clearing the strait of mines, so oil tankers have a clear path out.
Just completely called their bluff. If you enter the Strait of Hormuz, we will attack you. We just did it, and they did fucking nothing. We obliterated their weapons, and they have absolutely 0 power, and we completely called their bluff. Honestly, just insane, bro. Just crazy. All right, let's see Europe's plan now that the Strait of Hormuz is blockaded.
Is how can we reduce the demand? Because, of course, the least expensive energy is the energy that is not used.
What?
We should reduce demand while fully respecting the free choice of consumers. So we are looking at energy efficiency levels such as renovation of buildings or the renewal of equipment in industrial operations. These are some measures, but there are also other measures that we will present, or will be the core of the presentation of the communication next week on the table of the leaders. So far for the...
Great. So the cheapest energy is the one you don't use. Just stay home, don't drive, don't use electricity, and we'll have no issues. That's Europe. Literally just roll over and die, why don't you? This is insane. All right, so to understand, they threatened us. They threatened this is going to be bad, or they're going to destroy us. We can't enter the strait. As you can see, the U.S. Navy blockade actually did begin. We actually did just stroll right through the strait. We had no issues with anything because we're fucking strong as shit, and the Iranians are weak and gay. So the reality is, President Trump's Strait of Hormuz blockade is costing Iran roughly $400 million every day. People don't understand. Iran's only profit margin is, well, they have two things that they do for money in Iran. They export terrorism and oil. Okay, all right. So we stopped the terrorism. So that's pretty great. We also stopped their weapons manufacturing that they've been sending to Russia in their Ukraine war, and we've also stopped their oil. This is crazy, by the way, and insanely huge. And I keep seeing people, but we voted on a border wall 10 years ago. How's that going? Look, man, is Trump doing literally everything correct? No, of course he's not. But could we not bitch and cry over these stupid things when we actually do have a border wall getting made? Literally, Stephen Miller revealed that the DHS is building 1 mile of new border wall every day. Things are happening, and we're able to actually focus on two things at the same time. To quote Don Su, break an enemy blockade by blockading their blockade. And Iran winds up losing $400 million every single day on their blockaded oil. Suddenly, things are not good for them. Now, that is $13 billion a month. Now, the funniest part is the people most affected by this, not even Iran, because they're a death cult. They don't care if they die to go to Allah and fuck children in heaven or whatever. The people most affected are China. So China, one of the massive allies of Iran, is now begging Iran to surrender.
Threatened bridge and power plant day. China called Iran and told them to cry uncle. Now the Iranian oil blockade is probably the knockout punch. The Iranians are trying to outlast us. The longer the war goes on, the longer they're...
Right? They think that, oh, we're just going to stifle it. This was Iran's strategy. We are going to commit terror attacks in the Strait of Hormuz to cripple the entire world's oil supply. Everyone's going to suffer so much, Trump is going to stop killing us. That was their entire strategy. Meanwhile, they're going to control the strait, so they're going to still be able to sell their oil to China, and that's how they're going to make money. Now that the blockade exists, A, they're not making any money. They're losing $400 million a day. And B, you're going to see in just a moment how the energy crisis was solved too.
Their regime can hold off a revolution, but their economy is experiencing a crippling depression. This blockade's costing the regime almost $400 million a day.
Ooh.
That's $13 billion a month. Plus, the Iranians can only store oil for about 2 weeks before they have to start shutting off wells. The Iranians can't outlast us. The world...
2 weeks and they're going to have to shut off all their wells. How long was this ceasefire supposed to last again? My God. Oh my God. This is like the 5D chess plan that everyone was making fun of and being like, no, there's no way Trump is actually planning this. This is like a 5D chess plan. Oh, really?
It's turning to us for energy. Over 120 empty oil tankers are on their way to the Gulf of America.
That's right, the Gulf of America. My glob. Big news. Ship tracking data shows a tanker bound for China forced to be turned back under the U.S. blockade. Sorry, bro. Sorry, brother. You ain't getting through our blockade. Iran is more than happy to sell oil to China, but... what if China can't get that oil? And breaking news, oil prices fall back to below $100 a barrel. What a crazy reversal. Actually, they're even lower than this right now. This is old news. This is like a day ago screenshot. Right now, it's even more than that. Right now, I'm pretty sure it's like $89 a barrel. It's pretty insane, actually. And everyone was saying this was going to hit 130, 140. This was going to be the next Great Depression. Everyone was saying this, by the way. Everyone was going to say, all the experts on CNN were saying Trump is bringing us into a Great Depression. None of them will ever say that they were wrong. But they were all wrong. You know who wasn't wrong? This blue guy over here. This blue motherfucker. I was literally correct the entire freaking time, man. Honestly horrifying. Honestly horrifying that I was right. I'm not gonna lie. It's a little scary. I'm just a blue retard on the internet. All right, so you want to see the most America first shit of all time? You know, everyone's gonna scream, Trump is controlled by Israel. Well, this is the Gulf of America, ladies and gentlemen. And as you can see, it is packed with super tankers racing to load up on U.S. oil. That's right. We are now the #1 oil exporter on the planet, and all these countries absolutely need us. Notice how Cuba is next to fall, a very vital choke point in our hemisphere. Notice how we have so much more oil now thanks to Venezuela. Notice how we now kicked China out of the Panama Canal, and we turned the Gulf of Mexico into the Gulf of America. It's kind of weird how that happens. But But why didn't they plan for Iran closing the Strait of Hormuz? This is what CNN was saying for like literally a month, running straight propaganda again and again and again. All your Cenk Jungers and dumb fucks on Piers Morgan. What Piers Morgan develops gets an actual clown car of retards, the retard Avengers assembled on every Piers Morgan panel where they all sit there and like, I can't believe Trump didn't anticipate Iran closing the Strait of Hormuz. You absolute gigafuckers. It's over. Remember all that time Trump wasted on the Panama Canal? Dude, everything is coming together. From Venezuela to Cuba to Panama Canal to the Gulf of America, to Iran, the oil tankers, the Strait of Hormuz, the blockade, why he sent all those battleships. Dude, this is honestly horrifying. It's horrifying that he actually played us so fucking well. And just like that, we understand the importance of Cuba. Wow, did not see that one coming at all. The market's starting to figure out that President Trump knows exactly what he's doing. Takes Venezuela first to replace the Iranian oil. Has our refinery start ramping production of Venezuelan oil. Attacks Iran, naval blockades, straight tankers start coming to us. Says Cuba is next beforehand, so they know not to fuck around in those waters or else. Bro, it is so over for the China people. And there it is. I was told that a blockade would cost $150 barrel of oil. Anyway, there it is at $88 a barrel. Look at that steep drop. But I was told it was going to be a bajillion times worse for everybody. I was told it was going to end the academy. Of course, Iran started tweeting this from all their different embassies. Blocking the strait, it's our job, not yours. Okay. Okay, if you say so. 121 empty oil tankers en route to the United States now that President Trump launched a blockade on the Strait of Hormuz. We are the #1 oil exporter on the planet.
The United States of America. 68 of those 121 vessels are very large crude carriers capable of carrying 2 million barrels apiece. President Trump has urged countries squeezed by Iran's disruption of the Strait of Hormuz to turn to American energy supplies
Bro,
instead.
it's crazy how this played like right into the palm of our hands.
Perhaps they are obliging him.
And all these absolute retards criticizing us the entire time are going to end up paying us for our oil. Dude, no one is as cucked as like the Europeans under their libtard autocrats. I'm not going to lie. Like these guys, you know, they're funding Ukraine while buying Russian oil. It's like these guys are so fucked. It's crazy. It's honestly insane. It's heartbreaking. Like you could cry or laugh. I guess I'll laugh. Otherwise I'll cry. Breaking, the S&P 500 erases all losses and turns green on the day as the U.S. begins the blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. As you can see, the economy is good. Oil prices are down. Things are great. And I was told that this war was not an America first concept. Are you fucking insane? We're killing terrorists. We're doing a moral good by hopefully the Iranian people will end up finding some solace and liberation through all of this. So it's a moral good. It is objectively awesome. It's not crippling our economy forever. It's not a forever war. There's no boots on the ground. No nukes. Everyone crying. Everyone screaming. Bajillions of American troops are going to die. Yeah, that didn't happen. Thank God. The Iranians got fucking obliterated. These guys that have been committing horrible acts of terror, killing thousands of us all the time. But Trump made a mean tweet saying he'll end the civilization. You mean the civilization that's been chanting death to America every single day for the last 47 years? Just in, Iran accuses U.S. of committing piracy by blocking the Strait of Hormuz. I absolutely love the unbelievable levels of W's we're seeing. So they admit that blocking the Strait of Hormuz is piracy? You mean the thing that they've been doing? A lot of people think that just because the Strait of Hormuz is like somewhere moderately near Iran, they have some sort of right to close it. They don't own an economic waterway. They're committing acts of terror every day by closing the Strait of Hormuz. All right, Iran shutting down the Strait of Hormuz. Haha, I'm so smart. I'm literally gonna hijack the entire world. Fuck you, Europeans. Now, Iran, when America shuts the Hormuz back down. No, no, no. Why would you pirate our piracy? No. So Iran is literally cooked, as I've already established, within 10 to 14 days. They max out on all their oil storage, you know, because obviously they can't get any oil out. There's something of a blockade, it seems. It seems like in day 2 of the blockade, which is today, several dozen Iranian ports are already 100% choked off by the U.S. Navy. Not only do we have all the cards militarily, we have all the cards economically. This is like an absolute total victory. And because there's a ceasefire, essentially we could just move around without any fear of getting hit by these dumb fucks. Y'all can focus on fucking goats. You have 2 weeks left. Oh my god, it's like so over. Iran is desperate as shit, dude. The regime is reportedly in talks with the Trump administration as the Strait blockade begins. Now they want to work towards an agreement. No.
The blockade in the Strait of Hormuz, it's underway. U.S. Central Command issuing a note warning the blockade applies to all vessel traffic, regardless of the flag. And they write this: any vessel entering or departing the blockaded area without authorization is subject to interception, diversion, and capture.
Uh-oh.
The blockade will not impede neutral transit passage through the Strait of Hormuz to or from non-Iranian destinations. So everybody's clear.
Yeah, everyone is clear.
Where everything stands.
That's right. That's right. It's our strait now. We're renaming it the Strait of Trump. Trump Strait. That's what's happening. Sorry, man. I hate to be that guy, but this is crazy. Of course, the Iranian regime released all sorts of statements saying that we may not have a navy, but we have thousands of one-way attack drones. Yeah, so, you know, they're still dropping their threats. They're trying their best. And this is them basically threatening to bomb other Gulf countries. They're like, oh, yeah, you're going to stop us from making money? Well, we'll commit acts of terror on random Arabs.
Iran is warning its military may retaliate, threatening a wreckage and a reckoning. And Iranian military spokesperson saying, if the security of the ports of the Islamic Republic of Iran in the waters of the Persian Gulf and the Sea of Oman is threatened,
they were threatened.
No port in the Persian Gulf and the Sea of Oman will remain safe. Now,
like, how many times do they have to say it for us to be aware that we're dealing with actual terrorists? They're like, oh, yeah, we're going to blockade the Strait of Hormuz. And if you try to blockade our blockade, well, then we're going to bomb random Arabs. Like, what the fuck are we dealing with? This is incredible. Just in, Iran folds, says they will not test the U.S. in the Strait of Hormuz. Total and utter humiliation and capitulation. Oh my God. These guys are roaring every single day. They're going to conquer the world. Trump lost the war. They're secretly winning, and they're folding every single day on something else. Now, if you think that that's the end of Trump's 5D chess, you ain't seen nothing yet. U.S. announces a defense partnership with Indonesia, ladies and gentlemen. So the U.S. Secretary of War, Indonesian Minister of Defense, announced an establishment of the Major Defense Cooperation Partnership between the United States and Indonesia. All right, you're probably wondering what that's all about. Well, the Strait of Malacca is there as well. If you understand a little bit of maritime strategy, China's fucked. China's giga-fucked. We're meeting with China on May 14th. That's when Trump is meeting with Xi Jinping. And we are going to control all the pivotal straits around the world to the point that China will have absolutely nothing to do but beg us for our benevolence to make sure their country doesn't collapse. They were getting their oil from Venezuela, from Iran, traveling through all these straits, like the Strait of Malacca, the Strait of Hormuz. And it's really not looking good for these guys if we're all of a sudden owning all these straits. It's really bad. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, it was an honor to host Indonesian Defense Minister at the Pentagon today. I was proud to announce we are elevating our relationship to a major defense cooperation partnership in recognition of the strength and potential of the bilateral defense ties. We are controlling the fucking planet right now. Iran is ready to sell its oil to any country. Remember when Iran was like, we will sell our oil, but not to any country that allies with the United States. And then it's like, we'll sell it to literally anyone. Please take our oil. We're blockaded as fuck. We're overloading. We're losing $400 million a day. Please. So they're trying their best. Now, for those of you crying about gas prices, gas is $7.39 in California, but it is $3.19 in Iowa. If this was a global oil crisis, they would both be the same price. Same president, same world. Different governors. That's right. It's the communism, like, gas taxes that's making the oil prices shoot up in Cali. And, of course, you know, Iran rejected U.S. demands to stop backing regional proxies, including Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis during negotiations. And the dumbest fucking people on the planet are like, wait a second, is Israel right all along? Iran was backing Hamas and the Hezbollah and the Houthis? It's like, holy fucking shit. These people are actually retarded. For years, by the way, a lot of the left in the West was like, oh, they're totally separate. It's just a resistance movement. It's totally not an offshoot of Islamic terrorism from Iran. There's no reason. Remember, my favorite thing, actually, was how, again, on the Piers Morgan conga line of butt-munching retards, he gets absolute degenerate terrorist supporters like Mehdi Hassan on his show to be like, Israel launched an attack against Iran. It was an attack of aggression. It was totally uncalled for. Meanwhile, Iran has literally been funding terror wars on Israel for the last 47 years. For the record, Hezbollah and Hamas and the Houthis have all killed Americans. Houthis bomb our ships. Hamas captured and murdered Americans. Hezbollah killed 240 Marines in Beirut. Like, for the record, Iran has been killing our people for the last 47 years. This is not some random war that Trump started. Trump is ending a 47-year-long war in a very effective way. All right, now, just to understand, like, what's actually going on the planet, you know, I'll save this for a future video. It's too crazy. The CIA reported hacked phones of the IRGC commanders that then sent them false messages as a deception campaign to rescue the downed U.S. airmen. This is actually called, this is an Israeli tech called Pegasus, I'm pretty sure, where basically, you know, the CIA gets to hack their phones and tell them what's going on. And they've done this enough times for me to actually believe this is real. Now, the low IQ podcasters, according to Donald Trump, are proving that they are actually low IQ podcasters. Alex Jones says, shows this video where the Pentagon is having a B-2 Spirit stealth bomber fly by a U.S. carrier in the Persian Gulf to raise troops' morale during intense conflict. But why would their morale need to be raised if we are winning the war? This is fucking retarded, man. Like, what are we doing here, guys? Why would you raise the morale of the troops if the troops are winning? This is like actual retard shit. And also, this isn't even real. It's not even real. This video shows digitally created footage of Microsoft Flight Simulator graphics, not authentic Pentagon footage. Oh my god, dude. Holy shit. What are we doing? What happened to Alex Jones, man? Dude used to be so on the ball. What's going on? All right, and then you got, like, this is an Islamist British lady who made the U.S. boss on dictating to other nations about their enriched uranium. I'll explain it to you. It's the fact that we have the most powerful military on the planet, and we are the good guys, and we don't like the bad guys. And what gives us the right to decide who is the good guys and who are the bad guys? These big fucking balls and a massive military. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that might makes right. But I am going to sit here and tell you that might makes. So if you're a bad guy, you're fucked. But if you're a good guy, we'll treat you very well. Do you understand how that works? You're a hypocrite for letting yourself have nukes, but not letting Iran have nukes. Schrodinger's retard raises its ugly head to hit you with that one. It's hypocritical for you to think that good guys should have strong weapons and that bad guys should get fucked. Sorry, your leftist tricks don't work on me, wench.